Good morning and welcome to ALGAM's webinar series. I'm Jonathan Moffat. I am the Information Management Lead at ALGAM, and it gives me a great pleasure to present ABBYY Vantage, Intelligent Document Processing, with our presenters today, Stephen Bayton and Mark Broom. Before we start, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do. We are recording the session and that will be available afterwards on the ALGAM website. There will be time for Q&A at the end of the session, so please put any questions in the questions window and I'll put those to Mark and Stephen at the end of the session. And Mark will be demonstrating the Vantage application during this webinar and will occasionally turn his camera off so he can concentrate on the demo. So that's just a bit of a heads up for everyone there. With that out of the way, let me please introduce today's presenters, Stephen Bayton and Mark Broom. Stephen is the director at Desktop Imaging Limited, where they provide thought leadership in information management and end-to-end managed services that automate document and workflow processes. Mark Broom is the New Zealand country manager for ABBYY. Mark assists organizations to understand how to unleash the power of content and process intelligence, driving transformation solutions through the ABBYY Digital Intelligence Suite. Mark has over 27 years field experience and has become a long-term evangelist and subject matter expert in intelligent process automation, assisting government, banking, health, utilities, and education customers realize real-world benefits of digital intelligence. Stephen, Mark, over to you.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's a very nice introduction. Good morning all from sunny Wellington. Pleased that you've joined us this morning. Thank you, Jonathan, for a starter and the ALGAM team for facilitating the webinar this morning. Much appreciated. We are looking forward to catching up with you all at the annual conference in Wellington at the Takina Conference Centre, and of course that's only in a matter of 3 weeks' time. Big shout out to all those that have joined us and those that will watch a recording later. At least we hope. Yeah. If you are attending the ALGAM conference, we'll be both myself and Mark will be at stand 27. How did this come about? Desktop Imaging and ABBYY, we formed a business relationship back in COVID times, and COVID times were especially tough. For ourselves, we experienced the harsh reality of delivering digitisation projects when we couldn't access our facilities, and we looked for alternative business ventures, and ABBYY. We're pleased to connect with Mark Broom and ABBYY, and ABBYY, of course, Vantage is a cloud-based processing software. And we are now licensed to sell and support the software. As Mark will soon demonstrate, it uses artificial intelligence technologies to process a variety of forms, and we have plenty of forms to demonstrate with this morning. For desktop imaging, it has provided us with the ability to deliver solutions as a service and or support organisations who want to use their technology internally. And we've already got a couple of really good case studies in local government, and we're going to make them available via our website shortly. So, with no further ado, let me introduce you to Mark Broom, Country Manager at ABBYY in New Zealand. He's going to talk you through ABBYY before obviously getting into the actual demonstration, which we're all here for. So, thank you again, and over to Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen, and thank you for the team on the call today. Firstly, thank you for making time out of your day after a fantastic weekend. I'm still delighted that the All Blacks win, and you know, a bit of sun coming out in Auckland as a result, which is where I reside in the North Islands. And look, I'm really pleased to be here in support of Desktop Imaging, a value partner, our BPO partner here in the New Zealand markets, offering our Vantage solution out to a wider audience in a highly consumable, easy to navigate, easy to learn application, which I'm going to share with you today. Now, a little bit of a caveat here. I am a bit of an OCR geek. I am seeking help for that. but I am not technical, and that may come through in the way that I drive the slides on the meeting today, but I'm going to act as your citizen developer, showing you the ABBYY Vantage application today. Now, why ABBYY Vantage? Intelligent document processing, or IDP technologies, have been around for some time. In fact, ABBYY's been participating in intelligent document processing for over 30 years. We know documents. We know how to read documents. We know how to clean up documents for automated processing. We create all our own optical character recognition engines, our own ICR engines, intelligent character reading for reading handwriting, our own optical mark recognition engines, our own deep and fast learning algorithms, our own NLP technology. And as we start to talk about more sophistication and artificial intelligence, what's actually happened to the technology stack as it's become really challenging to push out to a wider capability within organizations. What I mean by that, through my experience, we've typically started in organizations via our partner community, automating simple tasks that might be the accounts payable process, or sales order processing, or what we've done with the local government elections and highly auditable election form processing with drop-dead deadlines in place. Very stressful, I can tell you, but ABBYY really has hit that hard and well. But some of the feedback that we'd received over a number of years is, oh my God, we can do so much with this technology, but it's difficult to get the right resources to be able to deploy and configure the solution. Hard to have that resource available on hand when you need it, when you want to automate a solution, or with the amount of effort to automate a simple process, which may be a licensing request form, or a rates rebate form, or a timesheet, whatever it may be. Because the New Zealand volume of documents are quite low, the effort to prepare versus the benefit never really added up. So as a result, we've been working really hard over a number of years developing the Vantage platform as a low-code, no-code platform to automate your documents and democratize intelligent document processing technology in environments like your own. It's really simple. You can upload your documents. We can connect to your existing email addresses, which may be, for example, invoices@algum.org.nz, or inboundmail@algum.org.nz, or any type of mailbox that you want to have connected for automated processing of documents. We can also ingest via mobile devices. So, one of the things that is becoming quite popular is mobile devices have now become mobile scanning interfaces, as we take pictures of documents and then have the ability to automate the processing of those. We can connect and upload documents via an API, or dedicated scanners, multi-function devices, or watching hot folders. So we've got all the ways of bringing documents into the platform covered out of Vantage. What Vantage is able to do then is identify the skills that you need to process the documents that you want to automate. We have a skills assistant in the platform, which I'll show you in the demonstration today, which will give you advice on the right skills to utilize. And skills to us are document profiles on how to read a particular document type, whether that may be a proof of delivery document, whether it is a sales order document, a bill of lading document, an invoice, remittance advice, a statement. So Vantage will identify the skills that you need to process your documents, which enables you to edit them, or you can create your own. We can then connect to any system, whether that's your ERP, your finance system, which may be anything from Tech 1 to Xero to MYOB to SAP or Oracle, whatever the case, but maybe in the ERP space we can connect to via our integrations. Or we could be connecting also to your CRM systems, your EDMS platforms, your workflow solutions from the likes of Nintex via desktop imaging, into your SharePoint or your SharePoint workflows, into your Authority backend. it doesn't really matter. We can connect to any system via our REST APIs or flat file processors or pre-built connectors that we have in our marketplace. What's special about Vantage is it gets smarter. So we have a human-in-the-loop process for educating the system. The more documents we see, the smarter the system gets. And that results in greater, what we call straight-through processing rates, which are how IDP solutions should be measured. Vantage understands your documents from the start. You can create your own document skills and your own process skills in under 30 minutes. In fact, my challenge today is to try and do that live for you in under 15 minutes. So let's see how we go with that. Vantage is ready to process your documents immediately. We have a marketplace, which is where you can go and find different document skills that you may want to look and try out to automate your processes, different connectors, different capabilities, like being able to, Vantage reads over 200 different languages natively, including Te Reo, and we have a skill which is a translator skill, so we can translate from English to Māori and Māori to English, or from any language back to another to help you automate your documents. We can change our UI into different language sets as required and read all types of documents out of the box from our marketplace. The system is not a template-driven platform. It is artificial intelligence using deep and fast learning algorithms. Think about all the talk around large language models. We've been doing that for years at ABBYY, but these are contained language models around processing different document types. So it's contained AI that's available in an easy-to-use platform. Again, the technology is cloud native. It's been available on the market now for coming up to 3 years. It's running on Microsoft Azure platform around the world. So we have locations in the US, Europe, and our nearest location in Australia. The platform is SOC 2 Type 2 certified. It's suitable and audited for processing sensitive documents that may contain personally identifiable information or banking information at the same time. It can also be deployed on-premise. That is available as well. So you've got lots of options with Vantage. As I mentioned, with Vantage, we have a saying, there's a skill for that. We have a marketplace that enables you to go and research different documents or opportunities for reading different document types, like statements, like airway bills, like bill of lading documents. If you talk to desktop imaging, we've just developed another skill that's going on the marketplace in conjunction with desktop imaging, which is the rates rebate form, which we know can be a challenge in organizations with all that type of information that you need to extract from those documents and work out the rebate process. So without further ado, I'm now going to test my technical ability and show ABBYY Vantage to you. So what I'd like to do, if I may, I'm just going to share a different screen and turn off my camera while I do that. Just not to confuse you as I look at a different screen, because my eyesight's a little bit poor. So let me do that now. I'm just going to share a different screen with you. And what I'd like to do is start with introducing ABBYY Vantage. So on the screen now is the ABBYY Vantage application. There's only two components that I won't be showing you today. One is a scan interface that sits in your environment for connecting to high volume scanners that you already have and being able to do batch type processing using your dedicated scanners. And the other component we have is an advanced designer for doing when you need to really hit your documents with a sledgehammer beyond low code, no code. You've got that capability in Vantage as well. Or you can also lean on the team at desktop imaging for resources to enable that. The application has really got all the capability down the left-hand side. And over on the right-hand side, it kind of gives you instructions on what to do. And if you need more information on how to use Vantage, We also have a free university available, which provides certification and learning opportunities for our partners and customers that may want to create their own IDP solutions within Vantage. Working at the front here, we have the ability to upload documents, and we can upload documents in many ways. I'm just going to grab a couple here, like so, and go open. And my skill advisor is going to look at these documents and try and work out what is the best skill that I could utilize to read these documents that I've just uploaded into the platform. Okay, and you can see here it's already working out the right skills to read these different document types that I've uploaded directly into my platform. The other feature that we have, which has really come about post-COVID, is the uptake of mobile technology. So we have a zero footprint scanning application. COVID has taught all our population how to interact with back-end systems via their mobile devices. So we can use QR codes to drive the ingestion of documents to be uploaded into our platform. This could be coming as a simple string that's sent via an SMS message or an email requesting further information to support an application to be processed. Or if you have field workers that need to upload documents in real time to initiate faster time to application processing speeds and outcomes, you can use the same technology for doing that. We have catalogs, and catalogs are our document skills that we can create or are available on the marketplace. We have classification skills that you can create or utilize in the platform, and classification is really important. As we're receiving lots of documents these days via PDF, and we sometimes know that there's not always a one-to-one ratio of a PDF to a transaction. A PDF can contain multiple transactions and multiple document types. Now, with multiple document types, you want to be able to have a solution that's able to automatically read, interpret, classify, separate, and then process those documents. As what I've noticed is in businesses today, we used to have like a mailroom where people collected the mail coming inbound and were able to distribute that out. And let me just see if I can maximize my screen here. Can someone just let me know if that screen is full view at the moment, please?
Looks good to me. Thanks, Mark.
Perfect. Thank you. I wasn't sure, so thank you very much. So lots of organisations have gone from having a mailroom where incoming information was separated out to pigeonholes and delivered around the organisation to the right business units. Now we're receiving more and more information electronically, and we have our inbound workers that are now receiving these files, which may be PDFs. And if the PDF is containing more than one transaction, they're doing two things. One of two things. One, they're either printing them out, so taking electronic, turning it into a physical version, separating them and rescanning them and distributing them around the environment, or they may be using tools from ABBYY like our Fine Reader application or Adobe tools to bring that PDF in and manually separate those documents out, save them as separate files, and then process them. With our classification tools, we're able to take that effort out of that process. So let the system do the classification, the separation, and all the hygiene on the documents for you. And that's even before we do any data extraction. We then have process skills, and a process skill is different to a document skill or a classification skill. A process skill builds in what you want to have happen as an end-to-end process. How do you want to receive the documents in this process? What type of documents are you looking to receive? What people in the business unit are going to be processing those documents? What information do you want to have extracted? What human-in-the-loop activity do you want to have validate where business rules haven't been met? And then where do you want to export that information to for further processing and workflow or different back-end systems. On top of that, it's really important to understand how you're performing. So we have a monitoring tool, which will look at all your different processes, look at your straight-through processing rates, how much time is being spent in manual review, what level of automation you're achieving, so you can keep an eye on the results that you're receiving in the business and further tune the system to give better outcomes. We then have our designing capability, which I'll come back to, and I'll show you how to create a document skill from scratch and a process skill from scratch. We have data catalogs, so the ability to connect at a field level, to look up and augment the data that's on a document with system data. An example of that may be supplier interface, where we may be synchronizing our supplier database, our master vendor file, back to the system for doing invoice processing to make sure that we are reading and validating the right vendors that have been onboarded into our process. And what I'm seeing more of in recent times is using the technology to also prevent fraudulent activity. So checking bank account details against the supplier details to make sure there's been no changes. And if there are changes, then to use technology for segregation of duty to look at whether that bank account needs to be updated or changed or not. So we have the ability to do that via API or to synchronize within the platform. We have a manual review page, which is all about human in the loop action. So looking at validating where business rules haven't been met or educating the system further. We have the ability to add users to the system and different roles within the tenancy that you need to configure for processing different document types. And also on top of that, one of the other important features is getting to the documentation and help when you need to, including having full access to the Swagger API for doing any integration that you may want to do as well. So why don't we have a look at Vantage in action first of all. So I'm going to share another screen with you. So let's go to my email. I'm going to drop in a file. Now this file here contains 5 different documents. I think it says 5 different files, but does that actually equate to 5 different documents? So what's going to happen is Vantage is going to poll this email address. It's going to bring these documents into the process. It's going to open up all those different files. It doesn't matter what file format or language the documents are in. So we can process documents in any file format, in any language, at any time. It's going to open them up, interrogate them, fully OCR, optical character recognize those documents, separate them out, and then I'm going to set the system to show me all those documents that have been processed. So you can see the system has now picked up those documents from my email inbox. So let's go back to ABBYY Vantage and have a look at what the system is going to do for those particular documents. So I'll just go back to ABBYY Vantage. And if I go to my skill catalog, and if I go to my process skill, this process is a onboarding process where the documents are going to come in, it's going to classify them, it's going to reassemble them, it's going to extract the data, put it into a human review process, and then output it. From the input side, it's been connected to my email address. So it's looking at my email inbox, as you saw it was polling that inbox. It's classifying those documents into different document types, applications, driver's license. Yes, we do read ID documents natively out of the box. So you can read greater than 10,000 different ID documents, driver's license, passports, to assist with remote onboarding of people into the organization or doing KYC checks. Whatever you need to do, we need to validate a ID type. We've pre-built that skill for you and is available to be used. It's then going to do extraction on those documents. It's going to pass them into human review, which is where we have human loop activity to validate information, to check for any training that may be needed or where our business rules may be broken. We can set this to only show where there's uncertain fields, or we can just let it process everything through with no human loop activity. So you've got lots of options that are available to you based on your processing needs for your particular document types. So let's go to manual review now and see what Abby's done to that document I just uploaded. So we uploaded 5 and we've ended up with 8 documents. So what Vantage has successfully been able to do is look at those documents, open them up, and identify different document types within the PDF, automatically separate them out, and then use the document skills to read what's required off that particular document type to meet our business needs. So you can see an example of handwriting recognition. We've read documents, the information off the document here for a rates rebate form. Here's another example of a rates rebate form that's been extracted for Mr. John Wayne. Now, if I wanted to change anything here and go, hey, look, that's not the right field. Let's say, for example, it didn't pick up that field for John. And as the operator said, oh, well, look, we really need to get John off that document, I can just hover over that information on the document live, update my field, and then as I process these documents, it's going to learn from that interaction and automatically process those documents for me. Again, it's found an invoice within that document type that we uploaded. You can see that the index fields down the right-hand side have changed to be aligned with that document type that we're processing. What's really cool about Vantage for accounts payable automation, because that's where lots of organizations start, is we can read documents that are 1 to 100 pages long. We can read all the table information within the invoice, all the line items extracted from the document. We can do lookups at a line item level for doing PO matching at a line item level. There's no restriction on the amount of tables in an invoice that we may want to read. We have a driver's license that's come through, and yes, I have given myself the authority to use my own driver's license. This is an example where we now have a field that's turned red. So someone's uploaded their ID document to us, and we've automatically identified that ID document has expired. This gives us a really good opportunity then to initiate a workflow task where we may then send an SMS message back to that applicant or an email saying, hey, look, we've received your application. Your ID document is invalid or expired. Can you please upload another document so we can complete your application form? And I haven't had to do anything as an operator. Within here as well as an employee application form where we might be extracting information off an employee's application. We may want to also make sure that they have signed that document, and we may want to capture the signature of that at the same time, and we can simply do that in the platform like so. And then we have another document type that's come in. Looks quite similar to the other document, but it's actually an employment agreement. So Vantage is able to identify the variation in those document types immediately. And again, if I want to capture the signature of that document, I can see that it's already picked up the tick box, acknowledging that the document has been read and accepted. Let's grab the signature as well, just like so. Then I have options here. I could send this to someone else for a secondary review if I wanted to, any operator in my business, or I could simply send it out for processing and completion immediately, and my job is done. So Vantage is able to handle any type of document type coming into the organization. And again, like Stephen indicated, come and see us at Algam, come and bring your documents to us and show us what you want to process, and we'll show you how easy we can do that inside Vantage. And please, if you can make them as tricky as possible, that would be fantastic. And because I love the OCR and ICR challenges of some documents, so bring it on. Now, I want to just show you how quickly it is to set up a document skill from scratch. So I'm going to go into my skill designer, and I'm going to create a new document skill. What I'll do is I'll call this Algam test, Please don't be too hard on my typing skills, as I am a citizen developer. All I have to do is simply upload my sample document that I want to process. And you can see that my opportunities to change things on the right-hand side is now different. It's saying to me what I need to do to set up a new skill, so it's guiding me through that entire process. So I want to now label and create business rules. Now, if you've ever worked with any of this type of technology in the past, you know this is where it gets really professional services hungry, where you need to have a certain skill level to set up new document types. You've got to rely on the vendor or the partner of the vendor. You've got to make sure that they've got time to set up the new document type that you want to configure in your system. You've got to then wait for their availability to do what you need to do. Well, let's make this quite simple and set up some fields that we want to capture off this particular document, which could be anything from a claim form, from a licensing request, could be a timesheet, any type of document that you want to automate and give time back to your business to focus on the results of the extraction rather than data entering the information before they really begin the work. So let's start. Let's create our fields. The first field here, I'm going to call first name, like so. Second one I might call last name. And I might do this one as date. I'll just do a few fields just so you get the feel for how Vantage operates and how quickly it is to set up a new document skill from scratch. And I'll call this last one here incident report. And I might call this one acknowledgements. We'll call that acknowledge, like so. And we might call this last one here signature. Cool. Now I can simply train this document now, and by hitting this train button, no information extracted, and the first time this comes through will be presented a manual review, and an operator will do what I'm going to do now, but I'm actually going to do it as part of the setup, so it's pre-configured for my operators. But I could do it now, or I could let my operators teach the system on the way through. So let's do that. So I'm going to click on the first name. I'll go to the last name. I'm going to put the date into the date field there if I can find the date on this document. Here we go, date field, like so. Want to know what happened. So let's create the incident report by lassoing all that data into there. I want to get the acknowledgement done. So on the bottom of the form, I want to make sure that if I'm processing this document, that they have read and understood the conditions, like so. And then I'll get the signature at the same time. Again, I don't need to do this at the start, but I'm just showing you how easy it is for an operator to do it on the way through. And all I have to do is hit train. Now this is going to create not a template, this is an AI model of that document utilizing what we call fast learning. So it only needs to see 3 examples of this document type, which may look quite different to the one I've uploaded, because we know that sometimes there are different iterations of versions of different forms, and you don't want to be setting up a template for all the different iterations. You want to have an AI model that will learn about the content of the data and where it may be or not always located in the same position. I can see the results of the fields. I simply hit publish. And then I can publish that skill called algorithm test. Real simple. And I think I've managed to do that in under 3 or 4 minutes. Let's now create a process flow to use that process skill, to utilize that skill I've just created. And we'll call this algorithm process skill and create it. This brings me into my process skill designer. I have some pre-designed skills that I can utilize from the start to give me a fast start if I wanted to, or I can simply create it on the fly by clicking on my activities. Oh, like so, my input, and then I'm going to have my document skill I'm going to extract. Oh, let's point that down to there. I'm going to have human loop review, and then I'm going to have my output, like so. So starting at the beginning, again, this is me being a citizen developer. I'm looking at automating this form. I want to give the time back to my team so they can focus on the outputted data and get faster responses to my customers, both internally and externally. I set my input and I go and select my source. In this case, I may select an email. I go to my settings and I then go in and select my email address from my email account that I want to have this process skill watch and bring documents in automatically. In the extraction model, we just created one earlier, so I'm going to bring in my algorithm test that I just created, and I'm going to tick collect documents and learn. So what that means is the more that people are interacting with these documents, if I don't set anything in those fields, the operators can train this, and it only needs 3 examples to be trained. In my review, I might set it just show me anything with errors or uncertain fields. What we typically suggest for a start of a project, for the first 20 or 30 days, just look at everything coming through. So you're training the system, making sure you've got your right confidence on the information that's been extracted from that form type, and then just set it to show me only where there's errors and uncertain fields. Then I have my output, where I can go to my external systems via an API, export a JSON file or a CSV file. I can set my image settings to PDF/A-3A, so it's archive ready file format going into my systems, or I can change it to a TIFF or JPEG if I wanted to, and I can talk about maybe sending a CSV file at the same time as a flat file if I wanted to, quite simply, and then I can publish that document process and then get that into UAT for my team to test, and then once they've finished their testing, I can then put that into productionization of that process skill immediately. So from a Vantage perspective, we make it super simple. Easy to configure your documents. There's a fast start. We can even look at an existing skill. Let's take an invoice skill, and I may want to look at that skill and go, hey, you know, what's that done to my documents? Let's have a look. It's read most of the information off that document successfully. It's read the table information. That looks like a skill that I want to use for my business process. And then what I can do is I can hit this thing called duplicate and edit. So what that'll enable me to do is to edit that base skill that's available and has been trained with a large language model and turn it into a skill that's right for my business. So let's see how we do it. Let's upload a sample document, which may be an invoice. And again, my instructions are changed on the right-hand side, where it's giving me now the opportunity to label and create my own business fields, business rules. Sorry. So I may then adjust this document skill. I might call this, rather than being invoice number is fine, invoice date, total, currency. I might say I don't really want to have the currencies because I'm going to let that be driven out of my finance system. The business unit's fine. I may add another field to my system, and I might call that new field processed by. And again, I can just simply lasso that information off the document into that field immediately. And I simply hit train. and I've now created my own customized AP automation skill that meets my requirements for processing those documents. If I go back to the editor for a moment, you can see I've got a little cogwheel here, which enables me to do some things like say that as a date field, I can say it's not really required, but for invoice processing, it is a required field. I can do some advanced capability by looking at this field and changing the data type if I wanted to. I could select eliminate field background automatically, or I can make sure I do that every time on that particular field type within my my document skill, and then I can simply save it. I can add business rules by doing a data catalog lookup if I wanted to. I could merge the field values between for an export label being invoice number underscore dates and value if I wanted to, and or vendor. Whatever I need to do, I can simply do in my skill process out of the box without having to do any kind of development outside of what I can do in Vantage, which is available immediately. So what we've done with Vantage is made it super easy, super quick to unleash automation across your teams without having to be an imaging expert. We've done all the work for you. We've got the grey hair and wrinkles. We've built in 30 years of document processing technology. I'm seeing in excess of 9.3 billion documents per annum, and we've made it easy for you to consume and available through desktop imaging. So that concludes my brief demo of Vantage. Looking forward to seeing you all at ALGM. And with that, I'm going to just go back to my slide deck if I can. And let's go down to the next slide. So the benefits of Vantage are really clear. And hopefully you can see that in full screen view. You know, Vantage is easy to train. It's easy to enable your team members and democratize this technology across the organization and automate those really painful little initiatives that you haven't been able to do in the past because the value of the effort versus the reward or the outcome hasn't really made sense, commercial sense. You can now do that with Vantage.
Hey Mark, sorry to interrupt there, just briefly, we can't see your presentation.
Oh no, okay. I did tell you I was a citizen developer. Let me put this back into full screen here for you. Thank you.
That's it.
Can you see that
Thanks,
now?
Mark. Yep, we've got
Marvelous. Okay, really briefly, easy to train, democratizes technology. Your team can also become imaging experts and IDP within minutes. Vantage understands documents from the start. You can create your own skills. You can use the pre-built skills and edit them and make your own. We have a marketplace of connectors and document skills that's growing exponentially week on week. And we have a flexible deployment model. And it's available through desktop imaging, our BPO partner here in New Zealand, who have some really exciting ways that they can present to you on how to consume the technology that's right for your business at the right time. So back to the team for questions.
All right, thanks for that, Mark. That was a really interesting presentation. They're great to see the application actually in action and not just a video demo or something like that. It was great to see. We have got a couple of questions in from Veronica. Both questions are from Veronica. She asks, is there an audit trail for acceptance, edited documents, photos, body cam footage, and is the audit trail secure from change?
Yeah, really great question. So we have an audit log on each process that you deploy. So each process skill that you deploy inside Vantage has its own audit log that is secured. It can't be altered. It can be exported out and viewed inside the tenancy or outside of the tenancy.
Great,
I hope
and
that
that's
helps.
yeah, and that's audit log is secured from change as well. Yeah.
That's correct.
Mm. And the other question that came from Veronica was, is there a retention and disposal schedule in system to delete information held?
That's a really good point. We're able to do that in a couple of ways. One, by default, we'll keep an audit of everything that's gone through your platform for 30 days. So you can go back and check on anything that's been processed if you want to. At a processing skill level, so each process that you set up, you can also set via the API the retention level of that document type from an IDP processing perspective. So as an example, when we're processing ID documents, personally identifiable information within the API for those type of processes, we recommend just delete on exporting. So once it's come out of Vantage, it's gone. It only then resides inside your ecosystem where you can deploy your own retention disposal authority over those document types as your business rules dictate around those particular document types. We don't kind of mandate that to you. We give you full control over the ability to do that for each process skill that you configure inside Vantage. Great question.
Yeah, just following on from that, I mean, obviously, if you were using the process skills around identification documents and things like that, presumably you've got particular access for your operators as well, because you wouldn't want sort of open access to all of your team necessarily for certain processes.
Absolutely correct. You know, when we're processing different document types, it may be ID document types, it may be timesheets or particular HR documents. You want different team members to have access to doing any human in the loop activity or verification where business rules haven't been met. You can set the different teams against each process that you want to have interacting with those particular document types as they're being processed. The platform itself is also SOC 2 Type 2 certified. We do regular penetration testing. Penetration tests are available to our customers. They're conducted regularly. We also have full auditing on the platform as well. That's available. We take the security really, really seriously.
Yeah. No, that's really good to know. So, so far, that's the only questions that have come through. So, I think at that point, I don't have any more, because that was such a good demo of the system. It looked so easy to use and to build those processes and to train those skills. So I think at that point we'll wrap up the session. So on behalf of the audience and on behalf of Algum, a huge thank you to you, Mark, and to Stephen for that presentation. ABBYY Vantage, it looks like a really simple to use process, and we definitely look forward to catching up at the conference. So I'll just finish up with a little bit more housekeeping. So this webinar has been recorded, and once it's been processed, will be available on the Algum website. If anybody does have any further questions for Mark or Stephen, please send them through to Algum and we'll forward those on, and so you can get your response. Thank you to the Algum's elite sponsors, Information Leadership, Magic Software, and 2 Degrees for enabling us to put on these webinars. And yes, so 3 weeks to the Algum conference, 14th to 16th of November at Takina Convention Centre in Wellington. Do come and join us. If you haven't registered, please do so, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. So that's all from us today. So thank you very much for joining us. Thanks again, Stephen and Mark, and I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.